They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the Warriors Hoopcast. And it is time for the quote-unquote second half of the season, although it's just 23 games for most teams out there. And I'm here today to discuss the main storylines that are developing, can develop, or have developed until now, and what might carry over to the next. Let's get right into it. Firstly, right before the All-Star game, there was an update about Chris Paul's hand injury. It was a broken right thumb, and he's projected to be out for 6 to 8 weeks, which gives him a strong possibility of missing some playoff games since the playoffs start April 10th. Now, Chris Paul has had 4 hand surgeries. The surgeon is basically family now. He's scoring 15 points, 11 assists, with almost 5 rebounds a game and 2 steals. And yet, with an injured hand, he played in the All-Star game. And what's worse is that Devin Booker tried his own rip-through move on Chris Paul and drew a foul. That was something to watch. Speaking of Devin Booker, he can be extremely helpful in this Chris Paul absence because he's been going off. He's been scoring 25, 5 and 4. And he chooses to look at the positive side of this injury because Chris Paul is getting rest before a very long playoff season. Don't forget, Chris Paul is 36 or maybe 37. He needs this rest. And Chris Paul has a history of playoff injuries. Like against the Warriors where he injured his hamstring and the Rockets ended up going down in 6 or 7. Yeah, every salty Warriors hater keeps bringing this up, that the Rockets would have advanced the Western Conference Finals. Yeah, no, I don't believe that. They would have put up a good fight, but no, I am not picking any team against Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry. Now, it's good that Chris Paul gets injured earlier, right? And I hope it doesn't happen again in the playoffs. And I do not want to hear the same excuse from the same salty Golden State Warriors haters ever again. Now, Phoenix is top 3 in offense and defense. So let's see how this pans out for them. Now, here comes the juicy part. The MVP race. Here's a train of thought. What's more impressive? How Embiid has been playing without Simmons, or how the Joker has been abusing everyone in the league without Jamal Murray? I'll throw some stats your way. Embiid without Simmons, 10 games in 2021, he averaged 31.6, 10 and 4. And with Simmons, he has career averages of 25.5, 12 and 3.2. This season, of course without Simmons, he's putting up 30 and 11. You can figure out the differences, right? Now, let's talk about Jokic. Without Murray in his career, he's been averaging 25, 10 and 8. With Murray, he's been averaging 20, 10.4 and 6.5. And this season, of course, a very casual, near triple-double, 26, 14 and 8. Do the 2 assists matter that much? That Russell Westbrook can win MVP for averaging a triple-double and Nikola Jokic can't? He's the best passing big man we've ever seen. Here's some more stats I'll throw your way. Without Nikola Jokic, the Nuggets are 1 and 5 this season. Without Joel Embiid, the Sixers are 4 and 8 this season. Without Giannis, who I'll be speaking about again, the Bucks are 5 and 6 this season. Both of their stats take a boost without their co-stars, right? Of Embiid and Jokic. So there's no comparing this. But whoever in this whole damn world thinks the MVP is a 2-man foot race could not be more wrong. Enter Giannis, who's averaging a very quiet 29.5 points, 11.2 rebounds, and 6 assists. All of them are on track for a very historic 30-plus PER seasons. Jokic on top, of course, but there is only decimals of difference, and the 4th best PER is somewhere in the 26 range. Now, here's a new stat, win shares per 48. It's equivalent to about 1/3 of a team win. So if a team wins 60 games, then the player would have won 20. The order for this stat is as follows. Number 1, Jokic. Number 2, Giannis. And number 4, Embiid. Let's look at this trend follows the same for win shares as well. Now let's look at offensive win shares. Number 1, Jokic. Number 2, Giannis. Number 5, Joel Embiid. Let's look at defensive win shares. Number 3, Jokic. Number 9, Giannis. Number 13, Embiid. Fun fact, Steph is 7th on defensive win shares. So anyone hating on his defense, there you go. The stats support that he's good. Jokic is leading the league in these following categories. Box plus minus, offensive box plus minus, defensive box plus minus. Pick any category and Basketball Reference, you will see Jokic's name in the top 5. He's having an insane season and the only one that can talk about it is Zach Lowe. That's not acceptable. And I see daily hatred to this MVP campaign of Nikola Jokic by Nick Wilde on First Things First. I don't stand for it. Now, in no way am I saying that he's the runaway favorite. No way. I'm saying Jokic is the leader and he has a big chance to win a second in a row, especially if they have a surge with Jamal Murray when he returns. Now, time for some drama. This is not at all an important narrative whatsoever, but recently CJ McCollum on an interview revealed that Zion Williamson has not had any contact with him ever since CJ joined the Pelicans. This is not something that a good teammate would do. This is beyond my comprehension. Why would you not text your teammate that has joined you? CJ is one of the top 40, maybe 30 players in the league. He has joined a Pelican squad fighting for the play-in tournament, and the main boy in the Pelicans fails to text him. Mere communication is tough. Zion is very detached at the moment, and this shows a clear message. He does not want to be in New Orleans anymore. Zion wanted New York to get the first pick because he wanted to play for the Knicks and MSG. It did not happen. But I guess Zion's done with the Knicks now. Done with the Pelicans now. There have been comparisons running around comparing Zion Williamson to Greg Oden about how in his first 3 seasons the same amount of games were missed. Yeah, it's looking tough for the dude right now and he doesn't even want to be there. This was a very meh narrative. Nobody really cares about this because it's the Pelicans. Let's move to a more interesting one. The Nets Sixers aftermath after their trade that shook the earth. The memes have actually made us forget that Ben Simmons is a good player. Fun fact, he was born on my birthday. And you can Google that out later. He had the second defensive box plus minus in 2017-18. He had the second best defensive win shares in 2017-18. He was second in steals in 2019 and 20 and leader in steals per game. He has made the all-defensive team twice. He was drafted in 2016. He's been in the league for 5 years and now he's skipping on his 6th. Without Joel Embiid, he has career averages of 17.6, 8.8 and 7.3. And with Joel Embiid, he has career averages of 15.4, 7.9 and 7.8. He's great regardless. Now, put him around 2 of the best pure scorers in NBA history in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. How dangerous is that? And recently, Shams Charania on Twitter reported that Eric Adams, the New York City mayor, is phasing out a vaccine mandate through which Kyrie would be eligible to play home games. Is it scary hours for the rest of the league? Kyrie himself did say, "Watch my squad," after the All-Star break. I'm ready, give me something. You're in the 8th seed right now, push yourself to the 6th, maybe the 5th, then we'll talk. Now let's look at the other side of things. The Sixers. The Sixers are doing very well without Ben Simmons, and here's an idea of how that pans out. They are 178 and 97 with Ben. You take him off the floor and they're still 35 and 23. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, Joel Embiid is not human. He is a monster. But no more can that excuse be given, as Simmons has been replaced by his exact opposite. A shot-hunting, decent 3-point shooting scorer, one of the greatest offensive weapons ever, James Harden. Will this mesh well or not? I would like to go with the former, that it will. Embiid has said this, and I quote, "We've got to get on the floor together and try to build chemistry." And he believes that this is very easy. Open your calendars and mark this date. 10th March 2022. Philly, Brooklyn squaring off for the first time. And mark this date as well. James Harden's debut for Philly is day after. Things are heating up in the Eastern Conference. Now, I want to end this with the Homer team. I'm a Warriors fan, so let's talk about the Warriors. This podcast is about the Warriors. Right. So we're 6th on the recent power rankings with the Nuggets at 5th, which I don't understand how. Steph has slipped to 8th on the scoring leaderboard, and there has been a recent downslide in terms of everything. 1-4 the last 5 games. And of course, there was no great free agency move made. Before going further, here are some fun facts. Stephen Curry has 74 steals while playing 34 minutes per game. Make that 35 minutes per game. Gary Payton II has 78 steals playing 16 minutes per game. Do you see how much of a disruptor he is? Steve Kerr, make him see more minutes. Please, I beg you. And here's the second fact. Steph Curry is not the best free throw shooter in the NBA or on his own team. Jordan Poole is making an absurd 92.2% on his free throws, and Stephen Curry isn't far behind at 91.9%. But it's weird how Stephen Curry is not leading this category, which he usually leads by a big margin. So, back to the matter. Now it's all about hunger, right? Curry has won 3 rings, 2 MVPs, and the list goes on. Upon being asked about his desire to win more rings, here's what he had to say. "I miss playoff basketball. We were just talking about that in the locker room tonight. Everyone feels like coming out of the All-Star weekend and winning a championship. He misses that fight. But Draymond's and Wiseman's injuries have become legitimate concerns. Since Klay Thompson returned, we have been meager 13-9 with 3.0 net rating, which is 8th in the league. He hasn't been as quick as he was laterally with Leandro Barbosa. Remember Leandro? He's managed to blow by Klay Thompson in practice, which would never happen in Klay Thompson's non-injured prime. Klay Thompson himself has said that he feels like about 80% of his former self, and that needs to hit 90% levels for us to contend. There is good words about James Wiseman's and Draymond Green's returns, so that's a good thing. And they would be returning next in March or very early April. That's the word around town. And I can't wait for us to go back to the 29-8 plus 9.1 net rating Warriors from earlier during the season. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed these few narratives. And if you did, please leave a like on Spotify. Feel free to subscribe, follow my show. And yeah, I'll be putting out my YouTube channel soon, where I'll be releasing the same podcast and maybe some more shorts. Yeah, look out for that one. That's it for today. Get out of here.